I sold my Carrera, you guys, and I'll be honest, it was the right decision. Why would somebody sell a classic 911? Well, it's because I have multiple of them and I was getting the same experience 4 times basically. This car is a 912, but I've got a 72 911E. I always add the E in there. Notice that. I'm proud of that E. And I've got a Targa. I've got a 73 911 Targa. I sold my Carrera because, well, for a few reasons. And am I going to regret it eventually? Yeah, probably. It's probably going to be watched. With the way that inflation's going and how many times I've heard the story, I should have never sold that from gentlemen that are older than myself. I figured that car is going to be worth about $500,000 in 10 years. But, you know, I think it's a tale as old as time. You get to a point in your life where you want new experiences, or you've got kids, or whatever. You name the reason, there are a plethora of reasons. And for me, you know, I didn't sell my Carrera because I didn't like it anymore. There was a problem with it. The car was incredible. It never left me, never let me down. That was just a really great car. And the guy that bought it from me, I hope it's just as good for him. I'm sure it will be. But yeah, I think you know, and I've had some friends ask me, well, why did you sell that one when you have, you know, you've got earlier cars that are kind of the same. You know, the 72 and the 73 are a pretty similar experience. And just for me, I think it was a few reasons, but one of them being that was the car I had the most experiences with, which is great, and it was sentimental, so it was kind of hard to sell. But at the same time, these are more of a, you know, if they were reversed, like if this was the first car I bought and that one I had only owned for maybe a couple of years, you know, maybe I would have kept the other one. It's just like I got that experience, you know, a lot, and I really got a lot of use out of the car. Boy, these birds are loud. Yeah, it was just, I mean, I truthfully haven't really driven a Porsche that I didn't like, and I mean, I test drove a couple that I was thinking of buying. They're cranking up, they are singing. And you know, there was a couple that I test drove, and I could recognize immediately that they were not cars that I wanted to buy because they were neglected, you know, and had maybe a little bit of well, a lack of power or whatever it was. But any Porsche that I've ever driven, whether it's a Boxster, I owned a 997, I had a Cayman in the past, they're all good to drive. These are like the older car that you have, the more visceral, the more raw it's going to be. You know, the newer the car, the easier it is to drive fast. And so, you know, I don't know. I think the Carrera, you know, 84 to 89 is probably the perfect balance. You know, I noticed that a lot of guys that have been around these cars for a long time, they seem to kind of keep those later ones because of just what those cars are. It's a really amazing balance and time for 911. So anyway, you could kind of go on and on and on. I could talk about this for probably a couple of hours, but I don't want this video to be too long. I love that car. There wasn't nothing wrong with it. I would buy another one like that. But, you know, I'm even currently considering selling my Targa, not because there's anything wrong with it, not because I don't like it. I'm just, you know, there are a lot of experiences that you can have. And, you know, if I guess if I was like a Jay Leno type character, I would never sell any cars, but I'm just not. And I don't consider myself a car collector. I'm like an enthusiast, and I just want to, you know, I want to enjoy them. So with that being said, there's other cars, like I said, to enjoy it. There's other Porsches. I still would love a 356. I would still, I mean, I've never owned a 996. I make a lot of joke videos on my Instagram account about 996s. I'll never admit to this over there, but to you guys, I will say that, yeah, I absolutely would. I've driven 996s and they're sweet. They're amazing cars. So Porsche, even just in the Porsche family, there are so many cars that that I would like to own, but attainable, you know, sort of I don't know. I mean, even honestly, a Boxster is a really good driving car. I wouldn't replace one of these with a Boxster, but I would absolutely drive a Boxster. I've driven them. They're really, really good. So yeah, we'll see. But right now, there's other cars that are outside of Porsche that I really, you know, that I would really like to experience and see, because yeah, there's just a lot of other good stuff out there. I've got my eye on. I'll tell you a couple really quick, like Volvo Amazon, Volvo 142. Those are a tenth of the price of these cars. Probably even, I mean, even less. You can get a pretty good Volvo Amazon for 10 or 12 grand. You know, and you know, I'm curious to see how the driving experience on other cars stacks up with these old Porsches. But like, if I sell my Targa, you know, if they're, you know, they're in the $100,000 range for a nice early 911 Targa. So would I ever buy one again? I don't know. We'll see. That's the tricky part of selling. So I'm really not sure. But oh, really quick, one more would be like an Alpha GTV. That is kind of the top. That's near the top of classic cars that I'd like to experience. So we'll see, man. There's a lot of good stuff out there. There's muscle cars that I'm interested in as well. I've never owned a classic muscle car, and all kinds of good stuff. I still have this Lotus that I'm finishing up, and I hope I can enjoy that thing. I hope it's reasonably reliable. But thanks for watching this video, you guys, and I'll be posting more of these, so we'll see you soon.